second Niger bridge, the facts you need to know before they deceive you. When Buhari took over government in 2015, he tried to cancel the project under the guise that he wanted to renegotiate the contract. But he found out that cancelling it will cost Nigeria lots of money. As a result of breach of agreement, because the terms of agreement signed by Goodluck Ebele Jonathan made it impossible for the contract to be cancelled at whim. Second Niger Bridge is a public-private sector joint venture, meaning that majority of the cost will be borne by potential users, mostly Igbos. Before he left, ex-President Jonathan made available 60% of federal government's 30% counterpart fund. Anambra and Delta states provided 5% each, while Julius Berger took care of the remaining 60%. When ready, the bridge will be tolled so that they will recover all their investment. When Buhari took over the government in 2015, he tried to cancel the project under the guise that he wanted to renegotiate the contract. So neither Buhari nor APC can take credit for the second Niger bridge because they complied with the contract, not because they wanted to see the bridge done, but due to the stringent terms of the signed contract before they took over government. They have no viable options. Well, I guess obviously when it comes to the credit, because really, when it comes to the campaigns and how the elections will be next year, we don't want, I guess, a situation where they start claiming rights as to, under our administration, we saw this project come to pass. Even though, to be honest, I don't think it should take 8 years to build a bloody bridge. Sorry. It's, how many? Was it a 1.3 kilometer bridge? I don't understand. It should not take 8 years. Look, and I always use this example, in China, for example, with the crisis of COVID, they built hospitals within that time. So there is no excuse. For a 1.3 kilometer bridge, it took you 8 years? Are you serious? It's a normal occurrence. There's so many projects that should take 1-2 years max to finish. Now look at this. So really, I guess they want to make it a tolled bridge, which Nigerians may fight against and say, excuse me, but when it comes to the economics of getting the money back, okay, fine, great, fantastic. But obviously, if we actually regulated tax and all that, maybe Nigerians would be paying the money anyways, regardless. But anyways, I think obviously maybe PDP may use this as an argument for them to also gain, to add to their campaign. But really, I also read, another fact article on this Niger bridge, and to be honest, everything is just an economic scam. It's corrupt in the sense that, okay, fine, the funds that were going to be used for this, I think Buhari tried to cut it by half and basically limit the liability or the responsibility of the government to, cater to the funds. And so out of the 30% that the government was responsible for over the course of 8 years, according to the facts article that I read, it was sort of paid in installments. So, there were breaks with the construction itself, and then COVID happened, which was now an extra 1-2 year break as well from the completion of the bridge. And so now the bridge is being completed. It's just been a very embarrassing, to be honest. And given the funds that was required by the government to provide for the completion of this bridge, they were unable to. But then with the costs and the spendings and approval of funds that the government has used and exercised throughout the years, there was no excuse as to why they could not just submit the 30% to get the project done. So really, maybe, as the article has said, Buhari's attempts to cancel the agreement did not work, and maybe he genuinely tried, but again, it just doesn't make sense, to be honest. I don't think him trying, it just doesn't make sense. But really, they can't claim anything for it, to be honest. But then again, it's like, what was the intention of Goodluck Ebele Jonathan's government as well? Obviously limiting liability, but then what was the intention? Because I don't doubt that they also had something to benefit from it. Well, let's look at the comments given. First, the problem with these Igbo people is that they are insatiable. Buhari could have stopped work on the project, but rather he borrowed money to complete the project. It's not even that. They've borrowed money for useless things. Well, not useless. The title, of course, it'll be phrased in a way where you're like, oh wow, these funds will be given towards this direction or to be spent towards this direction. But then we are talking about results. So if your results consistently are not, are non-existent, then we have a right to question. And you trying to say that the problem with these Igbo people is that they're insatiable. This is the problem with all this ethnic zoning and the division, because the government should build good roads. If they have to build a bridge for a certain community to make mobility easy, then they have to do it. You're not doing Igbo people a favor by making their lives better, because that is why you're in government. It's like, I don't understand. It's not a favor that you are meant to. And I think, I don't know, it's like, I think maybe we have a problem with this in Nigeria, because you can't be entitled. You are there to work. You're working for the people. So whether you completed the bridge in time or not, the fact that you're doing it, so Igbo people should beg and bend down and kiss your feet. Oh, wow, look at what this government has done for us. I'm not saying you should have you should have citizens that are just ungrateful or entitled, but what they are entitled for sure is a better life and higher standard of living. That is why you're employed, to be in government. Because really, when they were trying to implement Ruga, I don't think herdsmen were out here kneeling down and they felt like they were doing herdsmen a favor. To be honest, the way Ruga was trying to be pushed, it seemed like it was a right of the herdsmen. So I don't understand. When you are doing things for the people, you're meant to serve them. Why do you feel entitled to be begged? And I don't even beg, but given the glory that, oh my days, look at what you did. You're meant to do it. It's like we're praising the bare minimum. Igbos are ungrateful people who likes to deceive themselves. Wow. It's funny how they make it an Igbo thing because the bridge, it's just sad. Well, ungrateful Ipobis, they hate you with a passion no matter how well you treat them. It's not about treating them well. It has to be equal. You have societies where in a community, the standard is that, okay, fine, the housing, people can afford housing, purchasing power is already up, so people can spend. Businesses are active in a community. We have a local school or two local public schools, one big public hospital, good roads, and businesses. So for that little community to function with all these amenities increases the standard. And so when the standard of that community is replicated across the country, okay, fine. But you doing this for one community and not doing it for the rest, I don't know. So that community should then beg you and, be like, oh, wow, thank you. You're meant to do that anyway. So it shouldn't be that, for example, okay, fine, when it comes to certain things, for example, like in Lagos, yes, they're international businesses, but when it comes to, I can't even think as an example, to be honest. Obviously, Lagos is, when it comes to, I guess, to a certain level, if you're going to compare its development to other states, like a lot of other communities, many communities in the country, and this is where local government chairmen come in. Because in your local communities, you need to have a standard hospital, 2 standard schools, primary and secondary schools, and maybe in several states you can have their universities and 1 university per state. But we're talking about building a community, so I don't understand. You're not doing anybody a favor by doing your job. Put what you think about this in the comment section below, and don't forget to like and subscribe.